Hey everyone, welcome back to Stoic Resonate. Today we're diving into 10 essential Stoic principles that can fundamentally change the way you navigate through life. If you're tired of feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or just plain lost, these principles will offer you a roadmap to inner peace and resilience. So, let's get started. 1. Focus on what you can control. The first and perhaps most foundational principle of Stoicism is to focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Life is inherently unpredictable, from the weather to other people's actions. Countless factors lie beyond our influence. The Stoics understood that trying to control the uncontrollable leads to frustration, anxiety, and a profound sense of helplessness. Instead, they advocated for directing our energy toward what is within our power, our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Consider this: how often do you stress over things you have no influence over? Whether it's the behavior of others, unforeseen events, or the passage of time, many of us waste precious energy on these concerns. By shifting our focus to what we can control, our responses, our efforts, our mindset, we not only conserve our energy, but also become more effective in our actions. For instance, if you're in a difficult situation at work, instead of fixating on the office politics or unfair decisions, focus on how you can perform your duties with excellence and maintain your integrity. This principle teaches us to discern between what's ours to manage and what's not, freeing us from the futile attempt to control the uncontrollable and bringing us peace in the process. 2. Practice negative visualization. Negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum, is the practice of imagining the worst-case scenarios in life. At first glance, this might seem like a recipe for pessimism, but in reality it's a tool for building resilience and appreciating the present. By mentally rehearsing potential losses or hardships, we prepare ourselves emotionally for life's inevitable setbacks. Imagine, for example, that you lose a cherished possession, a job, or even a loved one. By periodically contemplating these possibilities, not in a morbid way, but as a way to build emotional resilience, you can reduce the shock and devastation should such an event occur. Moreover, this practice deepens our appreciation for what we currently have. When we recognize the fragility and temporary nature of our possessions and relationships, we begin to cherish them more deeply. This practice isn't about dwelling in fear or inviting bad luck. It's about strengthening our inner fortitude and developing a more balanced perspective. By regularly engaging in negative visualization, we can navigate life's challenges with greater grace and composure. 3. Accept impermanence. The Stoics believed that everything in life is temporary: our successes, our failures, our relationships, and even our lives. This principle encourages us to embrace impermanence rather than fear it, recognizing that change is the only constant. By accepting that all things are transient, we can live more fully in the present moment without clinging to what we have or fearing what we might lose. Think about how much of our suffering comes from resisting change. We hold on to relationships that have run their course, cling to past achievements, or fear future losses. The Stoic approach is to recognize that everything we experience is in a state of flux. This doesn't mean we shouldn't care about our relationships or achievements, but rather that we should appreciate them fully in the present, knowing that they are temporary. When we accept impermanence, we open ourselves up to the flow of life, allowing us to engage more fully with the here and now. This principle also helps us deal with loss and disappointment, as we understand that these too are part of the natural cycle of life. 4. Embrace discomfort for growth. Growth and comfort rarely coexist. The Stoics understood that true progress often comes from pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zones. Whether it's physical endurance, intellectual challenges, or emotional resilience, embracing discomfort is a key to personal development. Consider the challenges you've faced in your life, whether it was a difficult job, a tough conversation, or a personal loss. Often, these uncomfortable experiences are the very ones that lead to the greatest growth. The Stoics believed that by voluntarily seeking out discomfort, we can strengthen our character and prepare ourselves for the inevitable difficulties of life. This principle can be applied in various ways, For instance, you might push yourself to learn a new skill, engage in physical challenges like running a marathon, or tackle an intellectual pursuit that stretches your mind. Each time you embrace discomfort, you build your resilience and expand your capacity for growth. Number 5. Practice voluntary discomfort. Building on the previous principle, the Stoics also practiced voluntary discomfort as a way to toughen themselves up against life's inevitable hardships. This might involve fasting, sleeping on the floor, or subjecting yourself to cold temperatures. The idea is that by willingly exposing ourselves to discomfort, we become better equipped to handle adversity when it arises unexpectedly. In today's world, where comfort and convenience are often prioritized, practicing voluntary discomfort can be a powerful way to cultivate mental toughness and resilience. By temporarily stepping away from comfort, we remind ourselves that we are capable of enduring hardships and that our well-being is not dependent on external circumstances. Try incorporating small acts of voluntary discomfort into your routine. You might skip a meal, take a cold shower, or spend a day without modern conveniences. These practices not only build your resilience but also help you develop a deeper appreciation for the comforts you do have. Number 6. Value wisdom over wealth. In a world obsessed with material success, the Stoics remind us that wisdom is far more valuable than wealth. While wealth can be lost, stolen, or squandered, the wisdom we acquire is ours forever. The Stoics encourage us to prioritize learning, self-improvement, and the pursuit of virtue over the accumulation of material possessions. Reflect on the time and energy you invest in pursuing wealth. Are you sacrificing your personal growth, relationships, or integrity for the sake of financial gain? The Stoics would argue that true fulfillment comes not from external wealth, but from inner richness, a richness that is cultivated through wisdom, virtue, and self-mastery. Imagine if you spent as much time cultivating your mind and character as you do chasing after money or material possessions. The result would be a life that is not only more fulfilling, but also more resilient in the face of life's uncertainties. By valuing wisdom over wealth, we can build a foundation of inner strength that sustains us through all of life's ups and downs. Number 7. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that by regularly acknowledging and appreciating what we have, we can cultivate a more content and resilient mindset. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's lacking in our lives to the abundance that already exists, helping us to remain grounded and positive even in difficult times. Consider how often we take our blessings for granted: the roof over our heads, the food on our table, the love of our family and friends. By cultivating a daily practice of gratitude, we can rewire our brains to focus on the positive aspects of life, reducing our tendency to complain or feel dissatisfied. One effective way to practice gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few moments to write down 3 things you're grateful for. These can be simple things like the warmth of the sun or the kindness of a stranger. Over time, this practice can transform your outlook, helping you to see the world through a lens of appreciation rather than scarcity. Number 8. Understand the interconnectedness of all things. The Stoics believed in the concept of sympathia, the idea that all things in the universe are interconnected. This principle teaches us to see ourselves as part of a larger whole and to act with the greater good in mind. When we understand that our actions have consequences beyond ourselves, we become more mindful of how we treat others and the environment. In our individualistic society, it's easy to forget how deeply interconnected we are with others and the world around us. The Stoics encourage us to recognize this interconnectedness and to live in a way that contributes to the well-being of the whole. This might mean being more considerate of others, taking responsibility for our impact on the environment, or contributing to our community in meaningful ways. By understanding the interconnectedness of all things, we can make choices that not only benefit ourselves but also contribute to the greater good. This perspective helps us to live with a sense of purpose and responsibility, knowing that our actions, no matter how small, have ripple effects that extend far beyond ourselves. Number 9. Practice memento mori. Memento mori is a Latin phrase meaning remember that you will die, far from being morbid. This principle encourages us to live with urgency and purpose. By acknowledging the inevitability of our death, we can become more intentional with how we spend our time and energy. The reality of our mortality can be a powerful motivator. When we remember that our time is limited, we're more likely to focus on what truly matters: our relationships, our passions, our contributions to the world. This principle also helps us to let go of trivial concerns and petty grievances, as we realize that life is too short to waste on negativity. Consider how you might live differently if you were more conscious of your mortality. Would you spend less time worrying about what others think? Would you take more risks in pursuit of your dreams? Would you spend more time with loved ones? By embracing this principle, you can live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Number 10. Live in accordance with nature. Finally, the Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, both in the literal sense and in terms of our own nature as rational beings. This principle encourages us to align our actions with the natural order of the world and to live in accordance with our true nature, which is to be virtuous and wise. Living in accordance with nature means recognizing that we are part of a larger ecosystem and that our well-being is connected to the health of the planet. It also means living in a way that is true to our own nature as human beings seeking wisdom, practicing virtue, and fulfilling our potential. This principle can be applied in many ways, from making sustainable choices in our daily lives to aligning our actions with our core values. By living in accordance with nature, we can find a sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from being true to ourselves and the world around us. And there you have it, 10 powerful Stoic principles that can transform your life. By applying these principles, you can develop a mindset that is resilient, focused, and deeply rooted in wisdom. Remember, Stoicism is not about suppressing your emotions or becoming indifferent to life. It's about finding strength, peace, and purpose in the midst of life's challenges. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Resonate for more content on living a fulfilling Stoic life. Leave a comment below about which principle resonated with you the most, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay resilient, stay focused, and stay stoic.